Okay, so we're going to see how this goes. So you are getting ready for your quiz. Good luck. If you have any questions, make sure you can always email me. Basic equation. We're just trying to isolate the x. Add 7 to both sides. That gives me 4 x's equals 38. Divide by 4. X then equals, I'm going to get the calculator because I want to make sure that we understand how to do this. We do 38 divided by 4. I press enter. That gives me 9 5/10. I come up, I press the math button, I press enter twice. And that gives me my simplified fraction. So my answer is 19/2. Okay, second one. Now we've got variables on both sides. I will always add or move my smaller variable. That leaves me negative 13 equals 12x plus 12. Don't forget the variable. I'm going to subtract 12 using the additive inverse. That leaves me negative 25 equals 12x. I divide by 12. X then equals, and again, get your calculator, see if it can be simplified. Negative 25 divided by 12. Math, enter, enter. And it can't. So that's my answer right there. So I leave negative 25/12. Notice how I circle my answers on your test or on your quiz. Please make sure you do that too. Okay. Distribute, distribute. That leaves me 12x minus 48 equals. The 3 drops down because that's not what I'm distributing. I'm distributing this negative sign, which is really a negative 1. So that's minus 4x minus, and see how I already started putting a plus, minus 2. Combine like terms. 3 minus 2 is 1, so now I have 1 minus 4x equals 12x minus 48. And if you're like, Mr. H, why aren't you showing all the work? Well, it's a tight space and I want to make sure that I can fit it there. Add 4x to both sides using the additive inverse. That leaves me 16x minus 48 equals 1. Add 48, add 48. 16x equals 49, and I don't believe this is going to simplify, but how do I check? Well, I divide both by 16. X will then equal, and I do 49 divided by 16. Math, enter, enter, and it does not simplify for me, so I get 49/16. And if you're like, Mr. H, you've got a lot of fractions. Yeah, I like fractions, I told you that. Distribute, distribute. 5x minus 10 equals 5x minus 10. Right there, we should be able to stop. But let's say we don't know. Add 10, add 10. 5x equals 5x. This is the same. Okay, so let's say we divide by 5. That's fine, which is what we're going to do. And that leaves me with x equals x. You could have also subtracted and got 0 equals 0. I don't really care. But when this happens, when the left side is exactly the same as the right side, it's infinitely many solutions. Could you use all real numbers? Sure. This is not the answer. Hold on, I know you can't see it. So that's not, let's try this. That's not the answer, okay? This right here is not. This right here is the answer. Okay. Add 5, x divided by 5 equals 9. Multiplicative inverse multiplied by 5, x equals 45. A little easier one thrown in there. Last but not least, and here's why it was thrown in. So, I'm going to multiply both sides by 12. Well, I need to multiply both sides by 12. So when I multiply both sides by 12, that's truly multiplying everything on the other side. This leaves me 3 minus x equals, and I'm going to distribute and I'm going to distribute. That leaves me 36 minus 12x. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. So now I'm going to keep combining like terms. I'm going to add 12x, add 12x. I'm going to move it over here. That gives me 3 plus 11x equals 36. I subtract 3, I subtract 3. Gives me 11x equals 33. Divide by 11, x equals 3. If at any point you're like, Mr. H, I think you made a mistake, just let me know. I probably did. Solve for p. Add 5x, add 5x. The goal is to isolate the p. 3p equals 12 plus 5x. How do I want you to do this? Well, I need you to simplify it. So we're going to divide each individual term by 3. P equals 12 divided by 3 is 4, plus 5 thirds x. Do you hear that slapping sound? Me too. I really hope it stops. Okay, so from here, we have this fraction and only one term on the other side. I can multiply by the reciprocal. That leaves me 7p minus 4x equals 44. Now we add 4x to both sides. Leaves me 7p equals 44 plus 4x. Divide by 7. From everything, leaves me with p equals 44 divided by 7. Pretty sure that that doesn't simplify. But you know what? You got a calculator. Check it. It does not. Okay, there's our answer. So there's page 1. If you have any questions on this, make sure you ask. And put answer key so I know. Okay, so even explaining it, I did 8 problems in 6 minutes. Yes, I understand that I know what I'm doing perfectly, but you should plan on bringing a book or something on the 9th or the 10th, because you're going to have a good bit of time to do the quiz. Okay? Okay, still solving for p for number 9. Uh-oh. Notice how we have a fraction, but we have 2 terms, so that means we have to distribute. Get that calculator. Do 2/3 times 9, that's going to be 6x. 2/3 times 12, that's going to be 8p plus 14 equals 28 minus 7x. Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff to move away from the p. I'll start with the 14. I subtract 14 from both sides. I can combine the 28 and 14 because they're both constants. That leaves me 14 minus 7x equals 6x minus 8p. From here, I can combine the x's. So I subtract 6x. Be careful with the negatives. That leaves me negative 8p equals 14 minus 13x. Now here's where you'll make a mistake. The sign stays with the coefficient. So I'm going to put my answer over here, just because I have more room. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. Use your calculator. 14 divided by negative 8. Enter. Math. Enter. Enter. And you get negative 7/4. Negative divided by a negative is positive. Use your calculator to double check. But we can't do anything else. Okay. Now we get to the trickiest one. And I'm not going to lie, it is tricky. But only because you don't like fractions. Distribute. That's going to give me 8/5 p plus 6/5 x minus 7t equals 14t minus 5x. I'm going to add 7t to both sides. That leaves me 8/5 p plus 6/5 x equals 21t minus 5x. Subtract 6/5 from both sides. So now, watch what we're going to do. The calculator will do it all. Negative 5 minus 6 divided by 5. Enter. Math, enter, enter. So now, we have 8/5 p equaling 21t minus 31/5. Okay. You can't see it. Almost done. So now we have to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 5/8. But I have to multiply what? The whole thing. So this is 1p equals. Well, now I have to actually distribute this in to get my answer. So I'm going to do 21 times 5 divided by 8. Math, enter, enter. That gives me 105/8t minus 5 divided by 8 times a negative 31 divided by 5. Math, enter, enter. And it gives me negative 31/8 right there. There's my answer. That is a trickier one. Okay. I think my thing's going to stop, so I'm going to stop it and we're going to start. Okay, so now we're doing slope-intercept form. That means get y by itself. So I subtract 5x, I subtract 5x. negative 6y equals negative 5x plus 12. Keep the sign with the coefficient. Leaves me y equals a negative divided by a negative is positive 5, 6x. Positive divided by a negative is negative. I'm not done there, okay? But y equals mx plus b. The m is not 5/6 x. It's just 5/6. My b is negative 2. Okay, so I'm going to add 10x to both sides, add 10x to both sides. That leaves me with negative 4y equals 22x plus 34. Keep the sign with the coefficient. That leaves me y equals positive divided by a negative is negative. Goes in twice, that's negative 11 halves. Minus goes in twice, that will be 17 halves. And don't forget your variable, okay? Because it says put into slope-intercept form first. So I need to see this, then I need to see these. My m is negative 11 halves. My b is negative 17 halves. 13, okay? Don't distribute because there's just one term. Multiply by the reciprocal. So that's gone. That leaves me 7x plus 4y equals 36 divided by 2, which is going to be 18. Then I subtract 7x. I subtract 7x. Leaves me 4y equals negative 7x plus 18. Keep the sign with the coefficient. Well, it's just a positive. Y equals, my hand's cramping, negative 7/4 x plus, goes in twice, 9 halves. Again, you need two things. You need that, then you need the answers over here. And hopefully your writing is much neater than mine, because mine's always nasty. Okay, last one for this. Subtract 3 halves x. Subtract 3 halves x. That leaves me 1/2 y equals negative 3 halves, bless you, x plus 12. Multiply by the reciprocal. Well, what am I multiplying over here? Everything. Oop, sorry, you can't see that. Multiplying by everything, so it has to be the distributive property. That leaves me with y. I distribute. That's going to give me negative 3x plus 24. Slope, negative 3. If you put it as negative 3 over 1, am I going to mark it wrong? Nope. And positive 24. Okay, last but not least is the newest lesson. Okay, you see my nice fancy test making skills here, because these are all taped down. I cut them and I tape them down. So my first thing is, there's my b. I need my m, I need my b. So my m is always going to be positive if it goes uphill. My b is where it crosses the y-intercept, which is 3. So here it is. And then where else does it cross? It crosses right there. So it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The rise is 5. The run is 1, 2, 3. So now I have an m and I have a b. Y equals 5/3. Have to keep the x. If you forget any of those variables, I'll have to mark it wrong. Looking at this immediately, we know it's going to have a negative slope because it goes downhill. My b is 0. It crosses through the origin. M equals, let's find another point that it crosses through. Right here. The rise is down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The run is 1, 2, 3. So if you put 5 over 3, you are wrong. You have to know that it's going downhill, so it's negative. So that gives me y equals negative 5/3 x. Don't put plus 0, that's not simplified. 2 more. Here's my b. Is that 4? My m is negative, so I'm going to put negative fraction. Down 1. Oh, where does it cross? It crosses right here. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So what did I say? It was down 6 over 4. Wait a minute. It's down 6 over 4, and you put that as an answer. That's not right. Simplify that. That gives me negative 3 halves. So now my equation is y equals negative 3 halves x plus 4. Last but not least, y-intercept, positive 2, crossing here. So b is 2, slope is up 1, 2, 3 over 1. So my m is 3 over 1. My equation is y equals 3x plus 2. Why do I not need to put 3 over 1? Because 3 divided by 1 is 3. So this is your quiz. Plain and simple. If you have questions, you need to ask for help. Good luck. Okay, hopefully you're still watching. I did this wrong. People called me dumb, and that's fine. Not naming names, Emmy. So I brought down a positive 12 and then subtracted it. That's wrong. It had to be a minus brought down. Add 12 to both sides. There's my correct answer. Let me know if you have questions.